going to go ahead and get started. I know our time's off a little bit, but I'm just going to go ahead and get started. That way I can squeeze as much as I can and keep it 14:45 get there. Hi, my name is Kimberly Bynes, and I'm really glad to be with you all this morning. Thanks for stopping by for this particular breakout session. I've been working with state government for about 18 and a half years now. I made my rounds with Cabinet for Health and Family Services, with Personnel Cabinet, and currently with Transportation Cabinet. So I'm glad to be here with you to talk about this particular subject of why matters. The conference theme is this idea of finding your passion and your why, and I thought, well, maybe we should talk about what the why is first before we find the passion in it. So that's just the approach I took to here. So I'm just curious just to hear from anyone who was in the first main session there and heard Mr. Barber and Mr. Chase speak. Any takeaway, any golden nugget takeaway from something that they said about this idea of why that just kind of resonated with you? If anybody wouldn't mind sharing. Out loud. All right, well, I'm going to take a couple of notes, so I'm going to just see if you all caught up on this, right? One of the things that Mr. Barber said was, when your why is understood, then your what can be much more impactful. And I really, truly agree with that. That's one of the things we're actually going to look at a little bit more here in just a few minutes. So I wrote that down from him. And then Mr. Harper, I just got so many notes here, I'm not real sure where to begin with it. But he says your why is your purpose, your cause, your belief, that thing that inspires you. And I think that really does define why. Why the why matters is because it is that thing, that purpose, that cause, that belief that drives you every day doing what you do. Sometimes we just don't know what that why is. Sometimes we've not really been in touch with it. It may be something that you're doing so unconsciously you don't realize that this is what's motivating you every day. And then other people are just right on top of it. I know exactly what my purpose is in life, and I'm living it out every day. And so on these boards here beside you, there's say the same thing. But I asked the question, and I'm going to ask it to you. What is your why? What is your why? Why are you here specifically today? What were you hoping to get out of today? Why did you come here? Why do you get out of bed every morning? Why? Why is it that you do that? Why do you make it to work every week? Why do you do that? And if I could ask more, what is your purpose on this earth, planet Earth? Why do you exist right now, and why should anybody care? That last one might have been a little rude. So but I think the thing is if I ask that question of myself, why am I here? What is my purpose? What am I supposed to be doing with this days and numbers that I've been given? It gives our life very much fulfillment, right? There are days when I dread going and doing my life because I don't know why I'm doing it, and I don't bring the passion to it. But if I can put something to it, this is why I'm doing this. If I can understand what I'm hoping comes out of this, the results I want, why I'm doing it, it gives me a more deeper sense of fulfillment. We want to look at that. I told you some people know exactly, it seems like from birth, they know why they were made on planet Earth, and they go and they set about it from the get-go. And the rest of us take a journey trying to discover where they go along. And so my very best friend that I've grown up with since I was 5 years old, since I've known her, I knew that Ina cared about people, and she said, as long as I can remember, I want to be a mom. And then as we got older, she said, I want to be a nurse, because her why is to care. She connects with people and she wants to take care of them. She was so much about it that when we were in high school, she took all the health and sciences classes that she could take because she was on mission to become a nurse. By age 21, she had graduated from her program, was working full-time in her field, and had bought her first house. At age 21, I was changing my major for the 7th time in college, praying to God that I would just graduate and get out in 4 years and not the 5 to 6 year plan. And I had still no idea what my purpose on life was and what I was doing here. And I felt like I just continually searched and felt really, to be honest, I felt like I was all alone, that everybody else had their life together and I had no idea what I was doing with mine. And so it took a while, I'll be honest with you. It took until I was up to my 30s for me to realize what my why was. But the good news is I had been living it out all along because it was somewhat innate to me. I was living it out all along, I just didn't realize it. And so once I realized it, and once I put words to it, The great thing about putting words to your why is now you can be intentional. Now I can be purposeful. Now I can be on mission with my life and with my day. So we want to kind of look at some of that, right? We want to look at some of this. So we have all these questions. That's basically what I said here. What is your why? Why are you here today? So let me, if you don't mind, I'd really love to hear from somebody out loud. Why are you here today? Thank you, sir.
I'm looking to get a little bit of a boost.
A little bit of a boost. Great. Have you received that yet? A little bit? Yeah? I thought the last guy was really good. He gave me a little bit of a boost. So I was just curious if he resonated with anybody else.
Well, I'm an alumni, and I'm a former KYTC employee. I'm retired and with another company now. But I'm a mentor to a current ALA member. So, so I'm here supporting her, and also here to network with, some of my, previous alumni and folks with the cabinet. And just, it's always good, I think, to reinvigorate yourself.
Yeah.
And like he was saying, you have to constantly reinvent yourself,
Yeah.
which is very tiring for me, because it's like you think you know what you're doing, but yet, the world's changing, so you need to always reinvent and improve, constant improvement. But it's always good, to get that boost, because you go along and you're doing the best you can, but you always need that little extra boost, and I think that it always helps to have motivational folks, at least for me, to say, yeah, this is where you need to be, and it's okay not to do it all right, but just keep continuing to improve and continuing to learn.
Great, thank you. Troy, did you want to say something?
Well, I'm pretty confident I know what my why is, so I'm here to figure out how to keep that why going, like the house to keep it going.
Good. Good deal. Well, that's actually what we're going to talk about next. So thanks for the segue, Troy. I appreciate that. Now, I got to do this again in about 30 minutes. If you could come back and make that segue, I appreciate it. But I don't know if you've all heard of this man, but his name is Simon Sinek. And if you haven't heard of Simon Sinek, I really encourage you to go Google him. His last name is S-I-N-E-K, so Simon Sinek. And he's got great TED Talks out there as well as other things. Probably the way I first heard about him was the TED Talk that I watched that was called How Leaders Inspire Action. And I'm going to give you just a quick nugget from that particular TED Talk of what he talked about here. But he talks about this whole idea of what he calls the golden circle. And he says it's really kind of how we communicate. He says, but what most of us do and what most companies do when they communicate is that we start from the outside and work our way in. We talk about what we do, we talk about how we do it, and maybe we talk about why. But most part, we just talk about what we do and how we do it. And he says, while that's conventional and it's understood because we all understand the what level of things, what does not drive behavior? And he says, when you look at it, if you look at this golden circle and actually start from the inside, communicate from the inside out, if we start with why, then talk about how that's going to happen and what that will look like, we actually talk to the part of our brain that resonates with decision-making and behaviors, and that is why. Why motivates us, okay? And so when we come into work every day and we're working for our agency, our division, our branch, whatever it may be, why do they exist? Some of the very same questions that we ask ourselves personally, we should be asking about where we work. Why do we exist? What's our mission, our purpose, our cause? Not just our KRA and our KRS that has us living and breathing here and we have to regulate, but what are we trying to do and accomplish? What is our mission for being and existing? And then why should anybody care that we do that, right? How many of you actually do work for government currently right now? Everybody, almost everybody? I mean, sometimes it's really hard as government because we are the law. And we can think that that's the reason we exist is because of the law. But law just intimidates. It does not motivate necessarily. And so I think you have to go a little bit deeper, right? Law is what or how, but why? Why do we exist? Because that talks to the very part of our system, our very part of our brain that says, okay, I understand now. Let me make decisions based on that. Let me choose behaviors based on the why, so that my how and what start to make sense and where I'm going. And so when people, I ask in some of the classes that I teach, why do you work here? Why do you work for Transportation Cabinet? So let me ask you that question. Why do you work where you do? Again, out loud with me. Why do you work?
God put me here. I can tell you this whole huge story how in the world I ended up working for the Transportation Cabinet.
Okay,
It was divine intervention.
all right, very good. So you're appointed and on a mission, would you say that? Okay, I like that. Anybody else? Why you work, where you do?
To help others.
To help others, great.
Position where I'm more or less advising people, so kind of be there to help them in whichever way they need it.
Can I ask, is that something that actually drew you to that position? Is that this idea of you wanted to help people?
Not initially.
Okay, but you've learned to like it?
I
Love it?
went to it because it was a race.
Aha,
And then from there, just kind of
Yeah.
worked my way into it.
yeah. Because this is the next thing I want to talk about. When we talk about why, I think that we have big whys and little whys, okay? So sometimes we go to work because, quite frankly, I need the money. It pays the bills. And that's a truthful answer. That is a why that we go and work, is because, quite frankly, I like the lifestyle, or I would like a lifestyle, one of the two, right? I like my lifestyle, or I would want a lifestyle. And so money helps me accomplish that. But that's a little why. It is not something that fulfills me and makes me feel like, woohoo, glad I got to work today because I got the paycheck. Oh, man, taxes, wow. What? I didn't make as much as I thought I would. Right? It doesn't necessarily make me fulfilled to make money. But that money does fulfill me in another way. There's a deeper why behind the money. So why do we want money? What is it that it affords us when you go deeper with your, I'm here to get a paycheck? What does money help you do?
Survive.
Help you survive, and that's nice.
Take care of your family.
Take care of my family, which is a love and a priority. What else does it help you do?
Things you enjoy.
Things I enjoy, whatever that may be, hobbies, vacations, whatever, eating out and not having to do the dishes, right? There's something deeper that drives us beyond just making that paycheck. I think it's great to start with your little why and figure that out. That's great. But don't stop there, because it will not motivate you and it will not fulfill you. There's a deeper resonating reason. There's a deeper purpose of why I'm here and why we're doing this.
They bring me great puzzles.
They bring you great puzzles?
Yeah.
What does?
The work.
Oh, the work?
Yeah, well, not puzzles, problems to solve.
Oh, problems and challenges. Okay.
Challenges.
I was like, where are you working at? Is it a doctor's office? Okay. Yeah, they bring you some challenge things to engage your brain and make you figure and work and see successes, hopefully, when you
Oh.
solve. Yeah. Yeah, there's something fulfilling about that. And so that's my challenge for you. If you don't personally know your why you exist on planet Earth, why you're here, why you do what you do, it's a good time to put it into words for you. Because again, once you put it into words, all of a sudden now I have places where I can look to figure that out, how to do it. I really believe that when I understood my why, what I'm here for, one of my why, quite frankly, if people ask me what I did, I teach. That's what I do for a living. I teach, and I have been teaching for nearly 20 years. That's what I do. But that's not my why. That's not my purpose in life, is to teach. It's not. My purpose in life is to serve and give of what I am and who I am, so that those I come in contact have an opportunity to renew their mind and their spirit, to be transformed. I'm not in the teaching business, I'm in the transformation business. That's what I am. That's my purpose in life. How I do that? Sometimes I teach to do that. But it's not the only how I do it. My why has never changed. My how changes all the time. Because I can do that anytime, any place, anywhere, any aspect of my life with anyone I come in contact. I can live out my why. I can give of myself, or give of what I have, and give to people to help them hopefully transform their mind and their spirit and where they're at. How do I do that sometimes? Sometimes I teach. Sometimes I pay for the person behind me in the checkout or the drive-through line. I think that probably sometimes helps them brighten their day, inspires them. Maybe they'll even in turn want to give to somebody else. I don't know. But that's what I think will happen. That's what I believe will happen. Sometimes I give, my husband's sitting here, I'm helping, and y'all just bless his heart right now because he has with me. But he's come home literally to the house sometimes when I've given furniture away, living room furniture, dining room furniture, bedroom furniture. Why? Because someone needed it and you weren't using it at the time. It's like, yeah. Is it true?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. He's actually said to me on occasion, he goes, Kimberly, if by chance we were to ever win lotto, we would still be in the poorhouse because you give it all away. Because that's my mission, to give it all away. That's my mission. Some days I do that by teaching, and other days I do it by a myriad of ways. So I don't believe necessarily your why changes, but I do believe your how changes, because it can be really, really creative how you live out your life and how you live out your why. You can find ways to do that every day. If I know what it is on purpose now, I was doing it all along. Giving is part of my nature. I was doing it all along. But now I'm actually really intentional with it. Like, I look for ways to give now, not just make it part of my second nature. I look for how I can do it. One of the ways I do is teaching. It's not my most favorite way, to be honest. It is if I like it. I enjoy teaching, but it's not my favorite way to give away my why. There's other places I actually enjoy much more. Because part of this idea of my why, of this idea of wanting to help people transform and renew their mind and spirit, I don't always get to see the effects of that. Like, I don't know if I actually did that or not a lot of times. And so there's times that I'm not sure that I've actually lived out my why. And teaching is one of those places I'm never sure. Did I actually have an effect? Did they actually transform their mind and spirit while they were with me? I don't always know, because I don't always have follow-up with a lot of the people I come in contact with. So the places that I can have follow-up are the places that really speak to me deeply, because I know, oh, okay, it really did happen. I still am on mission. I am still being used to bring about these things. And so while I love to teach, it's not my most favorite way. And the reason I want to talk about the why is because I think you're always asking that question. And it's either why bother? And by why bother, I mean, oh, why do I even bother? Right? That's the context of why bother. Or it's why I keep going. This is why I keep going here. And I want you to understand this idea of putting why into words, because I believe life and people try to knock you off your course and off your mission all the time. I believe people set up roadblocks. I believe life tries to knock you down and take you off your mission all the time. And I have been there where I thought I knew what I was doing. I thought I was doing a good thing. And day by day, I felt just more and more defeated in what I was doing. And I began to ask the question, why bother? And that was my wake-up call. When I heard myself ask it out loud, why do I even bother coming here every day? And I was like, holy cow, I'm always asking the why question. Wouldn't it be better if I could put myself in the place of why I keep on going instead of why do I feel so defeated? Don't I get more accomplished? Don't I give more? Don't I feel more fulfilled? When I bother with why do I keep on going instead of holy cow, why do I even bother anymore? Because if I'm asking and living out of why do I even bother, my efforts are small. I don't give my best when I'm in why do I bother. You get my 3, if all of us are government employees, right? You'll get my meats. I don't want to get fired out of this, but I'm not going to give you more than that if I'm working out of why bother. And it's not a good place. It's a draining place to live out of why bother. It drains me emotionally, physically. It drains me not only at work, but it drains me at my home. Thanks for not saying amen. But it's just one of those, we're always asking and answering the why question. So why not put our mind on target to ask why I keep on going? How else can I live it, right? That's one of the things that really helped me understand, and this just came about within the last year, that my why was so much more than teaching, because teaching has been the biggest part of my life. But when I discovered there were so many other ways to live out my why, that I had a whole lot of other avenues of how I could do that. Wow, it helped me with the why bother when the job was really getting down to me. It helped me take the focus off of this may not work the way I want it to right now, but I'm kind of here for the moment. But there's so many other places I can live out my why. This is just going to be over here in the corner until something else comes along. But I've got other places to be effective, to know that the results are going to be there and where I'm going with that. So when we look at this idea of why, and if we want to actually construct our own personal why, here's a couple of things that I think helps us put our why into words. First of all, I need to understand what my contribution is. What is it that I have to give? What have I been skilled with? What is it that I notice? How do I look at the world and view the world? What's my point of view on those things? What is it within me that I have to contribute to this planet Earth? Because I believe we're all here on purpose with a purpose. Like, I believe everybody has some kind of talent, some kind of competency. that they are, it ignites them, inspires them, fulfills them, energizes them. There's something that touches you. And I think you were designed purposely for that, with that idea in mind. And you were given these skills and abilities, not to mention this viewpoint, to make it come to life like nobody else can. So what is it that I have to contribute? What is it that I get to give back? Because the second part is, whatever my why is, it's not just for me. My why is for everybody. Your why is for everybody. We serve each other in our whys. That way, I don't get drained giving all away, right? Somebody is filling me up with their why as well. And I'm filling them up with my why. And so whatever it is I have to contribute, what is the impact that I'm hoping it has? What are the impacts that I'm looking for it to have? So your why statements start with to whatever my contribution is, so that they have what impact. That's kind of how I develop and put my why into words, which, by the way, is Simon Sinek's why. Let me not even say that's mine. I've totally borrowed that from him. But my impact, my contribution, was my impact. And Chase Harper talked just a few minutes there about values. And I think values are really important to know what your personal values are. What is it that you live by? What is it that you believe in? And value statements are really interesting because there's so many really great values out there. Like if you just Google value words alone, I came up with all these different websites. One of them had over 300 value words, which quite frankly blew me away a little bit because now it's daunting. Shouldn't I have them all? They're all values. Maybe I should have 300 values. But I'll be honest, that's too much. That's way too much. And so one of the things I try to teach, especially in my leadership classes, is find your top 3 values. You probably have more, but let's kind of try to get a handle on it, right? Let's find out what your very top 3 values are. And then write out a sentence of what that means to you. Like when you say this value word, what does that mean to you and how do you live it out? And then get real intentional with your values. And I'll be honest, when I did this for years, this exercise, and it was really funny because I would always give them time in the classroom to do this little exercise. And you could see on my workbook where I had been doing it along with them. Like, then they had time, there was 20 minutes quiet time, let me work on this too. If I'm teaching it, I should be living it. It's kind of how I view my teaching. And so I started looking, it was probably about my 3rd year of teaching it, I started looking and realizing, oh my goodness, my values have been changing, right? I had lists every year where my values had changed, and I was like, holy cow, what's going on with me? Why don't I understand? And what I discovered was, as I was writing my value statements, what I was writing was actually my admiration statements. Like, I really admire that value, I want to go for it. But it wasn't necessarily something that I naturally and intentionally was living out. I admired it. So the very first year, I'll just give you an example. The very first year I said, oh, this is going to be easy for me. I'm a Christian, so my values are faith, hope, and love. That's right in the Bible. Holy cow, that's who I am. But then I got real honest with it, and I was like, I really just like love, but I'm not really good at loving. I want to love more. I want to be better at loving others. But the truth of the matter is, I'm self-serving, and sometimes do what I want instead of what you need. So I love love, I admired love, but that's not truly what I'm living out, something I need to work on. So that's not it. And faith, I'll be honest with you, I don't take risks. I don't take them. I'm super cautious. I'd love to be able to say, I'm all in and just dive in, but I don't do that. I weigh out the cost, I weigh the pros and cons, I was still on it for 2 more years, then I might decide because the opportunity's passed and now it's safe. So faith was not necessarily, I admired it, but it wasn't necessarily my value. And then I read a book, and it talked all about this idea of vulnerability. And I thought, well, maybe that's my value. I need to be more vulnerable. That's what if I was vulnerable, I could be more creative, I could be more loving, I could be all, and it was all I could, not who I am. So it took a while for me, it took about 5 years to discover what my true values are, the things that I live out every day, and sometimes don't even realize I'm doing it. And actually 2 of the values came from the people around me watching me live life, and they made comments, and all of a sudden it went, oh, that's a value that you have. So my family we're different, my mom and dad and my brothers. We love to make each other laugh, and none of the rest of you have to laugh with us. We don't care. If we make each other laugh, then we've had a good day. And so fun and laughter is one of my values. It's something I try to bring to our home. It's something I try to bring to my family. The job I took just 3 months ago, I actually asked in the interview, do y'all have fun here? Because if you don't have fun, I don't think I'm your gal, to be honest. And they're like, yeah, we actually live by fun. Well, if you like me, I like you. Hire me. So fun is something that's super important to me. I want to laugh. I want to enjoy. I want to make other people laugh. I want to let that be part of what I give to them in living out my why. It's a little bit of laughter, a little bit of levity to the day. So that was one of them. I told you already, my husband said, Kimberly, if we win lotto, we're already going to be in the poorhouse because you give it all away. Giving is one of my values. I live it out without even thinking about it. You need $1? Great, if I have it, it's on you. What you need, again, I have a brown SUV, Nissan Pathfinder, so if you see me in a fast food line, if you're behind me, I'm more like that, I'll pay for you. I love to give it away. I love to give my money away, my stuff away, my time away.
We follow you for lunch.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm going to be out of the taco machine. But Daddy's buying today. It's my birthday today, so Daddy's buying me. Sorry, you don't want to buy for everybody, do you? I don't think so. Giving's not his value, that's mine. So I give stuff away. But I get real intentional with it. Like I said, now I understand it's not just second nature, but it's who I am. I look for the opportunities to laugh. I look for the opportunities to give. My third one is hope. We've all been through stuff in life, right? Stuff that's not fun. And one of the things I discovered with thread through my life was, for whatever reason, no matter how bad it got, I just never gave up hope. I just knew. I knew somehow this too will pass. Somehow I knew I'd hang in there. And hope is a huge value that I have in my life. And so once I knew what that was, not only do I live hope for myself, I try to give hope to others. It's one of the things I try to help them see, that it can be tough, and boy, it hurts sometimes. But I promise you, you can survive it. You can survive. And so I think these are some of the things that we need to do to learn our why. What's my contribution? What is in me to give? My talents, my skills, my abilities, from who I am. What impact can that have? What impact do I want to have with it on others so that their life can also be more fulfilled through my why, and their why can help fulfill mine? And what are the values I live by? So I'm just going to take a quick minute here because I have just a minute. I have just a minute here, and I'm just curious, would you guys just take a moment and maybe in your book there, write down, what would you think a value of yours is? What is it that you live by and believe in? Just take a moment if you don't mind. What do you think is one of your values that you live in and believe in, live by? And the other thing I would encourage you is, what is your contribution? What are some things that you have? Your skill, your ability, your insight, your viewpoint. What is your contribution that you have to give this world? Last job I had, things got really tough, and I didn't believe I was having an impact in my why anymore. And as I left that organization to come over here, my coworkers presented me with this particular little plaque, I guess, if you will. And you can see it in the middle of it has why, because it was something I preached and tried to live even over there. And the cool thing that they did is they reached out to all of my participants, the people that were in my class, and said, what would be a word that you would use to describe Kimberly and the impact that she had on you? And so inside here were all these different little words that my participants told me about the impact that I had on them. And I keep this now in front of me because the world will try to take you off your course and off your mission all the time. You may feel defeated just because you don't feel good that day and forget what your why is. I've been lucky enough that somebody put it in print so that I could have it with me every day to remind me why I live this life and that I have something to give and I should be doing my job doing it. I appreciate your all's time here today. It was really, really quick. But if you have any comments or questions or want to talk further, I'd be happy to stick around while you guys have a bit of a break going to your next class. Thanks, guys.